What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to bring you another video. And today was a video that you guys kind of inspired based on one of your comments on my giveaway video. I don't know if the giveaway is still going to be available by now. I don't really know when I'm uploading this video, but actually I think today is going to be the last day. I think I'm going to try and get this up on the 15th, so today will be the exact last day for you guys to enter into the giveaway if you would like to. So one of the things that I had you guys suggest to me is you guys wanted to know my opinions on beauty and makeup moving forward, basically in 2021, what I thought prediction wise would be happening. I did take the time to write down predictions. I have 10 predictions that I want to talk about. So if I'm looking down, if I'm looking around, that's pretty much why. If you're wondering what's going on with this makeup look, this will be a 3 looks 1 palette with my 50/50 autumn palette, and this will be coming up next week. This is the second look, so I will definitely have this video edited and uploaded for next week's videos. With that being said, I would love it if you guys would like and subscribe after watching this video if you enjoy it, and let's get into it. Alrighty, so I feel like 2020, although there were so many complications because of COVID and some other things, it kind of was the end that broke the camel's back. A lot of decisions in the beauty community, I feel like really this was the last chance that it could change it slightly, and 2020 just really emphasized all of the things that had slowly been going on in the beauty community when it comes to YouTube beauty community. There's of course everyday beauty shoppers who only buy one eyeshadow palette a year, and you know, they aren't really as consumed with makeup as we are, you know. So these are just some 10 things that I have seen slowly progressing, and 10 things that I think will come to their hilt in 2020. Number 1, inclusivity and inclusion in shade ranges. So this has been a very, very big ticket item on a lot of people's attentions and minds and perspectives since honestly Fenty launched. Now there have been quite a few brands that have had there have been quite a few brands that have had inclusive ranges prior to Fenty Beauty launching, such as MAC and NARS. But the thing that made Fenty Beauty when they launched so groundbreaking, so extraordinary, is that they launched with such an inclusive range. Many other brands slowly inclusivized their range to provide for greater people throughout the world. And so for me, I think that inclusivity is really going to break a lot of people in 2021, especially when you're looking at a lot of these makeup brands who are either based in the United States or get a lot of their marketing and their purchasing done in the United States. With so much going on in this country right now, inclusivity and just the availability of purchasing and products to people in a wide range is really going to be one of the most critical things that will hurt a brand. We've already seen that this year when it comes to Hourglass. There have been so many beauty gurus, influencers, mini influencers, micro influencers, whatever you want to call them. There have been so many people who have voiced their opinion on the fact that they will no longer support Hourglass because of their lack of a shade range and their consistent remarks into saying, oh, we don't care, that we're not going to inclusivize. And that is really going to hurt Hourglass. They may not feel it right now, but throughout the years, throughout the months, they will feel it. So number 1, I felt beauty moving forward is a lot of brands are just going to have to be more mindful of their inclusivity when it comes to their shade ranges. Now generally I think that is going to be really highlighted in mainstream brands. I think a lot of people really give indie brands a little bit more wiggle room because generally these are love brands. These are people who are creating a brand based on their love of a passion, of a pastime. And so they don't necessarily have the backing that these huge monopoly brands do that have parent companies, etc., etc. So definitely I think this particular kind of opinion that I see going on in the beauty community is definitely going to be pretty consistently concentrated when it comes to mainstream brands. Number 2, I can see within 2021, maybe 2022, a lot of brands sniffing around more US based companies. And I say that because there are quite a few brands that either originated in the United States or have moved kind of their headquarters or their main factories in, or their main distributors, let me say that, within the United States. And I found that when it came to COVID, they really realized how dependent they are on flights from other countries to get to the United States. And a lot of brands have suffered because of that. And so I just feel like a lot of brands are going to start to sniff around, really see what factories there are in the United States, what their products that they're coming out with are, and if it will be something that they can feasibly transfer some, if not all, of their creativity and their productivity to US based factories, so that if, God forbid, another pandemic happens within, you know, the next so-and-so years that their company is actually still thriving and still established, they won't be hit nearly as hard. Because there were so many companies that had to push back so many of their launches because of that, that they are now still suffering, and they're trying to push out as many launches as they can. They're trying to put so many things on sale just to make back money, because they just were not prepared for the pandemic and what the pandemic was really going to hold and to delay when it comes to their brand. Number 3, I find that so many other brands, whether it's indie or mainstream, are going to start to look at more distributors in other countries. You saw that so many brands who were very mindful, very dependent, once again, on postage, taking it from their specific country to other countries, had extreme delays. They had to straight up just stop purchasing from individuals who are not in their home country or their main distributor. That I think that many people are going to start to really look to see, oh, can I get a distributor for Europe? Can I get a distributor for Africa? Can I get a distributor for the United States, etc.? It's just going to be a lot more mindful and smart business practices, I feel like, coming into the next couple of years, and even in 2021, where people are just going to start to think about it, especially when you get to these huge parent companies. They're going to they're going to really take note of what happened in 2020 and try and figure out how they can stop it so that they are not as crippled as they were in 2020. Now, to me, those huge conglomerates really weren't crippled. It was really those indie brands that were really struggling throughout the end of 2020 and even into 2021. You will see a lot of these indie brands are really struggling to survive at this point. They can't necessarily provide as much front purchasing as they previously might have, just to make sure that they can make ends meet. And so I feel like they're going to try and really get themselves into these distributors such as Beauty Bay, Beautylish, Sephora, Ulta, stuff like that, where they can make sure that they have a certain amount of stock constantly be picking up from these distributors so that they can be spread wide, if not even creating their own warehouses in these other countries that they can ship from in those countries, to make it easier for people to actually purchase and for their customers to get their purchases quicker. Number 4, this is something that I don't really know if it's going to truly happen. We have seen quite a bit of it happening thus far, but just in general, I expect to see better sales throughout the year. 2020 really showed that companies will put a sale on their website if they feel the need, if they know that they need to make a profit, they need to make a sale. So they're going to make the prices lower so that people can actually purchase from them. So I expect to see a lot more sales moving forward. We saw from Sephora alone like 4 or 5 sales in 2020, whereas in previous years they act like they didn't know what a sale was except for twice a year. So for me, I expect to see a lot more sales coming forward when it comes to these mainstream distributors, these mainstream brands, and even indie brands. I found that 2020, you really found a lot of indie brands that were willing to make quite a few deep discounts. I got quite a few really nice discounts, 40% off during Black Friday, and just throughout that end of the year, that I just feel in the heart of my heart that more sales, deeper sales will be going on in 2020, if not in the future, just because brands are seeing that people don't have the dispensable income that they once did. People are losing their jobs, people are losing their houses, their loved ones. They don't have the money to provide to pick up makeup. So that is definitely something that I can foresee happening from 2021 and on. Number 5, I think that a lot of brands are going to have to be more careful, considerate, and unique when it comes to their color schemes. There is just way too many brands popping up out of the woodwork, way too many releases for people when it comes to, like I said, not having the expendable income, that you're not going to be able to continue to pick up every basic palette or every rainbow palette that releases. Brands are going to really have to come out with very unique color schemes to ensure that they're going to be able to continue to get their consumer to pick up the purchase. Even if these palettes, these eyeshadows, these lip products, these bronzers, even if all of these things are on sale, there's only so much that people are willing and are able to physically pick up. So brands are going to really have to make sure they stand out when it comes to just the mass market as a whole. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more different textures and different color combinations. And I think if brands are not able to provide those types of things, they're really just going to find themselves not really getting a lot of people to pick up their items, and unfortunately they may not be around for much longer. Number 6, I think a lot of brands have found that in 2020 especially, they cannot afford to do such quick launches back to back. Now, I mean, ColourPop is on its own realm. They're in their own highlight up here in the clouds. So we're not talking about ColourPop. But generally, of any other mainstream brand and even indie brands, I don't think they're going to be able to afford so many launches to be thought prior to, and also to be manufactured and to just be in prep in their factories to be launched in the future. They can't do it. I think we're going to see overall a mass slowdown when it comes to beauty launches. Now, we're not going to see all of these changes, especially some of these changes that I'm talking about. You're not going to see them until probably halfway through the year, if not even 2022, 2023. But I think that we're going to definitely see a lot of these changes happening in the effect, in the kind of backfire to what happened in 2020 as a result. And so, like I said, I just think that a lot of brands are just going to have to ultimately slow down, because they're seeing, once again, their consumers don't have the money to pick up every 10 palettes, whereas they may have justified picking up those palettes previously. They just don't have the money anymore. Number 7, we started to see this in 2018, 2019, but I think a lot of more brands are going to be extending themselves to other categories. So a lot of brands that base themselves on makeup will most likely be expanding themselves to skincare or even brushes. We find that they're doing that because, once again, makeup enthusiasts, makeup addicts, makeup lovers can't necessarily justify picking up every new eyeshadow palette, every new bronzer launch. But once they start to diversify to like something as skincare, where a lot of people really like to take care of their skin, that is something something that if they can't buy makeup, they're going to buy skincare to ensure that their skin is taken care of throughout the year so that they can keep up their youthful skin. So it's going to be something that they can potentially get more customers to continuously purchase from their brand back and back and back. Whereas an eyeshadow palette, you just get one purchase. A skincare brand, you get constant purchase again and again and again. So I think we're going to see a lot more makeup brands either creating sister brands that are skincare based brands, or they're going to be creating skincare themselves. And although I personally am just not for that, I just feel like stay in your lane. You know, people are doing it, people are experimenting, people are actually purchasing from these brands that are doing this. So, you know, I just think that it's something that we're going to see in the future, just so that brands can stay relevant and to stay afloat. I think that number 8, brands need to stay consistent on their social media. We are seeing so many influencers, so many people who want to be influencers coming out of the woodwork, that brands are going to have to stay very consistent, very relevant on social media. You're seeing that in very different ways. I'll be talking about another kind of way right next, but really I think the biggest thing on social media, brands need to make sure to reply to comments, to answer DMs, and to repost photos. That is one of the biggest downfalls I feel like brands are not doing. They're not reposting photos that influencers or just everyday people are tagging them in. And so because of that, they're not continuing to keep that connection with all of these people who are spending their hard-earned money to keep them afloat. So I think that these brands are really going to have to keep a connection with their consumers to once again ensure that these consumers come back to them, especially if they're a makeup only brand. They really are going to need to find that tether. And another thing that I didn't talk about, another thing that I think makeup brands, for number 7, is that they may be coming out with a lot of body butters. I found a lot of indie brands in 2020 were coming out with body butters. I don't know what it is. I don't get it. I hate body butter, if we're being honest. But a lot of indie brands were launching body products, as well as their, of course, makeup brands. So I think a lot of brands are trying to reach out to another niche to ensure once again that they can expand their customer base, but also keep their customer coming back for more and more purchasing. Okay. So another way, once again, the brands are going to try and stay relevant in the social media realm is, of course, PR. Now, PR has been a very sore subject for a lot of people. And for me, you know, PR is what it is. It helps brands to get free marketing, free publicity, but it also helps the influencer to get products for free, and that they can make content on their channel that their constituency is willing and interested to see. And so for me, I think brands are going to be using PR in a couple of different ways. They're going to be using it once again to get free publicity, free PR. They're going to be expanding their PR not only to people who are very popular in Instagram, to people who are very popular in YouTube, to people who are very popular in blogs and Facebook. But I think a lot of brands are really going to be finding those up-and-comer influencers. And that's where I think a lot of these bigger conglomerate brands are missing out. They don't get these up-and-coming influencers at the beginning, and so they miss out. These influencers, once they get too big, they might not want to get big brand PR, because it might be just too much depending on the influencer. I just find that it's better for you to get in with an influencer at the beginning and try it out once or twice. See how much publicity you get from their videos, from their content, or whatever it is, than to never try that person. That's just my cup of tea. But you know, I'm on this side, not on that side. Anyways, I think they're definitely going to be expanding their range in that realm. But I also think that so many brands are realizing and seeing how many brands are getting blacklisted for their lack of inclusivity when it comes to PR, but also when it comes to swatching. And these are two big things that I just think y'all gotta see it coming. This has been, the warning signs have been coming since 2017 in the grand scheme of things. I mean, they should have been doing this from the beginning of their brand, but let's sit down on that one. Brands need to make sure that they are inclusive when it comes to their swatching on their websites, on their Instagrams, but also just posting on their Instagrams, and also, of course, providing a wide range of people when it comes to their PR. I'm not saying that they only need to inclusive eyes when it comes to the darker range. I think in the even lighter, palest of pale ranges as well. I find that a lot of brands really focus in on that middle market where you get like tan and medium tan complexions, and no, there are people outside of it. There are people, and not just one or two influencers, there is a wide range of people on all walks of life. And I just feel like a lot of brands are going to really be forced to expand in these realms because brands are being called out. They're being called on their stuff, and influencers, beauty and beauty purchasers, beauty lovers are not playing anymore. They're not. And especially brands that are based in the US, you cannot afford to ignore these movements. You can't. You cannot. And the last thing I want to talk about is something that I think overall, no matter when you originated, no matter what's going on, this should be something that is thought, but it's not always a thing that brand owners think about. And it's that the brand owner needs to be professional. Brand owners have been getting dragged this last couple of years. 2020, quite a few brand owners got fully dragged in the woodwork, and because of that, their brand has been blacklisted by quite a few beauty gurus, influencers, and just makeup enthusiasts. There's no need for me to say the names because, like, let's face it, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about. There's a big 3 people that their brands got dragged royally because of things that they did in their private life. Y'all need to be professional, okay? Be professional. Put an example of what you want your clientele to know about you on social media. There is a reason that beauty brand owners are not very involved in who they are providing PR for, who they are connected with. Yes, you may have a personal relationship with them, but there's just certain things, there's certain lines you don't cross. There's certain things you don't say on social media. And these brand owners need to get that. You need to understand that if you say something, it will affect your brand, it will affect you, and we are not having it anymore. Now, there's some beauty brand owners that have been able to kind of get away from that. They've been able to kind of sweep the things under the rug by, you know, no longer being CEO, but to still have money, to still have, like, you know, a claim in the brand. But there are other beauty owners, beauty brand owners, who have not been able to do that. And I just if there's one thing I want from these beauty brands, makeup, skincare, body care, fashion, perfume, all of them, be professional. That's all I ask. I think that's a very easy ask. Please do it, sis, because it's irritating when I see you're not professional and you do something side-eye worthy on comments, DMs, anything. It's a wrap on you. It's a wrap on you. So yeah, these are 10 things that I think moving forward will drastically be affecting the beauty community as a whole. And of course, sometimes it will be affecting more of the mainstream brands or the indie brands more. I would love to hear what you guys think of these 10 ideas, these 10 topics. Do you guys think that they will actually be affecting these brands and their owners, do you have other things that you think I missed? I would love, love, love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, this was something that you guys asked for me, and if you enjoy it, I'll continue to give my opinion, because like I said, there were some beauty owners that were able to skid by with having some controversies, and their brand did not go under. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, y'all, Black lives do matter. Please remember to wear a mask and stay safe. I would love if you guys once again would like and subscribe to my video. I would love for you guys to come back and watch another video from me, and I will see you guys on the flip side.